Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're digging into a problem that feels incredibly modern. Where do you put your trust when it feels like everything is falling apart? Turns out, the answer might be hiding in a crisis from thousands of years ago. So, let's get into it. Okay, so I want you to picture this. Your nation, your home, your entire way of life is about to be completely wiped off the map. This isn't just some political squabble. It's a genuine existential threat. And this was the reality for the ancient kingdom of Judah.
So a reality like that forces a massive question. When you are backed into a corner and the odds feel absolutely impossible, what do you do? Who do you trust? That single choice is what frames this entire story.
To really get why they made the choice they did, we first have to wrap our heads around the sheer desperation of their situation. So, the Assyrian Empire. Think of them as the superpower of their day. They were a ruthless, seemingly unstoppable force. And for a tiny kingdom like Judah, this wasn't just about a potential defeat. It was the threat of being completely annihilated. The stakes honestly could not have been higher.
This crisis forced a critical decision. It laid out two very different paths, two completely different sources of potential salvation. On the table, Judah had two very different options. On one side, you had Egypt, a huge military power, with chariots, soldiers, the whole deal. It was a visible, tangible, human solution. But on the other side, a promise from God, something totally invisible, totally divine. The choice really boiled down to the temporary strength of flesh versus the eternal power of spirit. And this is why the sermon we're looking at includes this really stark warning right from the prophet Isaiah. The idea is, if you place your ultimate trust in a temporary human power, even a really strong one like Egypt, the outcome is pretty much inevitable. Both the helper and the one getting help will eventually fall. It's a powerful point about the limits of human strength. So the solution being offered here isn't just a new strategy, it's a fundamental change of heart. The sermon makes this great point that true repentance isn't just about feeling sorry. It's a full 180-degree turn, a total change in the direction you're facing. It's turning away from your own plans and toward a completely different source of strength. But you know, making a turn like that requires a radical shift in your mindset. And believe it or not, it starts with something a little surprising, changing how we think about failure.
To illustrate this, the pastor asked this really cool question. Think about the absolute best of the best in sports. You know, like a superstar baseball player. How often do you think they actually fail when they step up to the plate?
It's 70%. Just let that sink in for a second. The most elite hitters in the game of baseball fail to get a hit 7 out of 10 times, and we call them superstars. I mean, that really flips the script, doesn't it? Our culture teaches us to be afraid of failure, to avoid it at all costs. But in the world of truly high performance, a high failure rate isn't just accepted, it's pretty much a prerequisite for success. So, the goal isn't a perfect record. It's not about avoiding mistakes. No. It's about staying in the game, taking bold swings, and aiming for that one breakthrough success that makes all the previous failures just, well, irrelevant.
This whole mindset is what the sermon calls a fearless heart, and it's the source of real mental toughness. It's the ability to embrace bold attempts, knowing full well that most of them won't succeed, all while keeping your focus locked on the one breakthrough that can change everything.
Okay, so all of this brings us to a final, powerful metaphor. How does this fearless faith actually apply to the biggest, most stubborn challenges we face in our own lives? We all have them, right? That one problem, that relationship, that situation that just feels like a giant, unmovable rock blocking our path. And it feels like no matter how hard we push, it just doesn't budge. The pastor makes this so concrete with a deeply personal story. He faced his own rock, a painful and really complex family conflict. For 12 long years, he prayed and he waited. And on the surface, absolutely nothing changed. Then, suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, the rock moved. The situation resolved itself in a way he never could have planned or orchestrated. And this leads to such a profound realization. Those 12 years of waiting weren't a waste. They weren't a sign of failure. That long, difficult period was the necessary time of preparation. It was time for hearts to soften, for circumstances to align, for everything to get ready for that one moment the rock could finally be moved. And so, that brings the question right back to us. What is that unmovable rock in your life? And what might change if you started to trust that the long, silent period of waiting isn't inaction at all, but is the preparation for a breakthrough you just can't see yet?